In this video, I will walk you through how to modify an existing top server installation when you need to add additional drivers or driver suites to your top server that weren't selected during the original installation. This is commonly necessary when you only select the drivers for which you own a license and then need to add connectivity for additional protocols at a later time. This can include when you migrate an existing top server project that has channels and devices configured using a driver that hasn't been installed on the top server that you're trying to migrate to. So, here in my existing top server install, I happen to have an Allen Bradley Suite license, as you can see in my license utility. And I have a channel and device configured for connectivity to a ControlLogix Ethernet device that is all working normal. As you can see, there's my channel device for ControlLogix Ethernet. But consider the following scenario. Our company's just added some RTUs or other devices that require Modbus Ethernet for communications. So our first step might be to try to configure a channel and device in the existing top server using Modbus Ethernet. So if I go to connectivity, right click, select new channel. For my type of channel to be created, which corresponds to my driver or protocol, if I click the drop down box, you'll see my only options are Allen Bradley drivers and simulator. What that tells me is that the original top server installation only selected the Allen Bradley Suite drivers for install, which means that I'm not going to have Modbus Suite drivers available to configure. So how do we add Modbus to our top server in this situation? So I'm going to click cancel here. The first step is to stop the top server runtime service. I'm also going to close out of my configuration, so I'm going to close that. So yes, this will require a disruption in your runtime communications with currently configured devices. So do make sure that your top server is either not currently in production or that you're performing these actions during approved or scheduled downtime for your process. So if I go to the admin icon in the system tray, I'm going to right click, select stop runtime service. Once the runtime service has been stopped, we can run the top server installer again. I'm going to run that as an admin just to ensure that I have all the necessary permissions. Okay, so here in the installation wizard, I'm going to click next. And since top server is already installed, I'll get this menu and I want to do a modify operation. Click next, and then I get to my features selection. And as you can see, there's some grayed out pieces, there's some X'd out pieces. Grayed out means that only part of the sub features have been selected. So if I expand that, you can see that currently the only thing selected is my Allen Bradley Suite. So since I need to be able to configure Modbus Ethernet, and I'm going to need a Modbus Suite license, what I want to do is scroll down and find the Modicon Modbus Suite in the list. And you'll see there's a selection of drivers included. Now I can either select only the Modbus TCP Ethernet driver, or I can go up here and I can select Modicon Modbus Suite. Since when you buy a license for the Modbus Suite, you have a license to use all the drivers. I like to go ahead and actually select them all in case they're ever available, or in case they're ever needed in the future, they'll be available. Of course, if you truly do prefer to only install the driver you specifically need at this time, you can certainly do that. I'm going to go ahead and do entire feature will be available installed on the local hard drive for the entire suite, and you'll see that selects all of those drivers. And at that point, we just need to proceed with the installation. So we'll click next, next, and then modify. And the installer will go ahead and install the components that we need for all of those Modbus drivers. So now that the modification to the installation is complete, I'm going to click finish. And I want to go back and open my top server configuration. I'll double click on that admin icon to launch the configuration. So now I can configure a new channel. So I'm going to right click on connectivity, select new channel, and for my type of channel, you'll now see that all those Modbus drivers are also available for selection. So I'll be able to now proceed with configuring a channel and device for my Modbus devices. Now just remember, with Top Server version 6, you can use the newly added drivers in 2-hour demo mode prior to purchasing and applying a license for the new drivers without it causing your licensed components to time out after 2 hours. Just remember though, if you're doing that, the unlicensed component In this case, the Modbus suite will still time out after 2 hours. At that point, you can either purchase and apply a license in the license utility for the unlicensed components, in our case the Modbus suite, or if you prefer to keep using the unlicensed components in demo mode for the time being, the overall server runtime does have to be restarted to reset the 2-hour time period, which again will affect your licensed components. This video has shown the general steps required for quickly adding additional drivers and suites to an existing top server installation when a full installation was not originally performed.